Well, good evening. Here we are. I guess we're not really doing bedroom talk tonight
Well,
because
we are.
it's
We're in a bedroom.
beach studio night.
We're just on vacation in the
Yeah,
bedroom.
right. Yes.
So,
So at dinner time, we were having this conversation about bringing jobs back to America.
for the Trump plan,
Right.
so a lot of his things were about making it costly to take jobs overseas and do things that would bring those, particularly manufacturing jobs, back to the United States. So, I thought maybe we should talk a little bit about what that means and what that would look like. Um, so, of course, there's some question as to all of the details of how he would do that and whether how successful it would be to begin with. But I think those that are thinking that, oh, gee, all of our jobs will come back. We're going to have all this manufacturing back in the U.S. and we'll have good, high-paying jobs for everyone, and everything will be wonderful. We're forgetting some things.
Like what?
Like right now, you go to Walmart and buy really cheap stuff from China, and if it's made in the U.S., it's going to cost considerably more.
It's
The
true.
99-cent store is going to become the $3 store. Uh, but yeah, to assume that you get all of those things back at the same price isn't going to happen because it costs
Right.
more to manufacture things in the U.S. We have more regulations. We have uh, more benefit packages. We pay higher wages. So all of those will be reflected in the prices.
Right.
So it may mean that we have more money in the U.S. for the people that are doing those jobs. We may have higher employment, but you'll pay for it when you purchase things. So, everything has a cost, and the money doesn't come from nowhere,
Right.
and that's where it's going to come from. There's a few other things, though. Um, People don't think about the environmental impact. Uh, right now, a lot of jobs are going overseas. I know plating companies that have gone to Mexico that
Plating.
yeah, like chrome plating and stuff for
Oh.
things.
Oh.
Yeah, like John's business, Patrick's father.
Oh.
Yeah, um,
Uh-huh.
gone, they've gone to Mexico because we have environmental regulations that have just make them non-competitive. So they go to Mexico. They either don't have the regulations or they're not enforced as much, and so they can give you cheaper prices and such, and still maintain their profit margins. But at the same time, um, you end up with more pollution. Yeah, it's not in our backyard; it's in somebody else's backyard.
Uh-huh.
But the whole idea of environmentalism that it's a global thing. If we don't want polluting anywhere, but bringing some of these jobs back from China and back from Mexico and back from places that don't have the environmental constraints that we do means that they'll do them cleaner and less polluting here than they would somewhere else. That's even if they lighten up on some of those regulations, it'll still be much better than it is going to countries that don't have the regulations at all or have them and don't enforce them.
Uh-huh.
There's one other thing we talked about.
It was on it would be expensive for some of those businesses to come back to the States.
Yeah. And the whole idea is to try and make it more expensive for them to leave or to stay overseas than it is to come back. So, again, those expenses will be passed on to us and we will pay for them. The other thing is don't assume that when companies come back that manufacturing is the same. Things change over time and we automate a lot of things. So they
Mm.
may come back and still put in robots and other things and highly automated manufacturing and not employ as many people as we think they would. So, it's not an answer to everything, and there are costs to it. But do you want jobs in America? Do you want people working in America? If we do, then that's one way to accomplish it. But somebody's paying for it, and that's the consumer. course, the people having the jobs get to be consumers too, because now they have money. So what goes around comes around. So I think that summarizes it.
I think so.
All
Yeah.
right.
So it's yeah, sure, we can have those jobs here in America, but it's going to cost us more to purchase those items.
Yep. It's part of doing things here. All right. See you next time.
Good night.
Good night.